College football is back in a big way this weekend, and the three favorites to win the championships this year all have new starting quarterbacks. Ohio State is third with 6-1 odds. Redshirt freshman C.J. Stroud takes over for Justin Fields. Clemson has the second shortest odds at 4-1. They will give the keys to DJ Uiagalelei, who made 2 starts in place of Trevor Lawrence last year. And then Alabama, as usual, is the favorite, number 1 in the preseason poll, despite losing basically an NFL Pro Bowl team. But their new quarterback, Bryce Young, the top-ranked quarterback in the 2020 recruiting class, has everybody talking. And amongst those in that conversation is our own Paul Finebaum, who joins us here live this morning, along with my fellow SEC guys in Marcus Spears and Booger McFarland. So let's get into it. Let's start with that. Alabama gets an interesting test on Saturday to open the season against Miami. What are the expectations for their young quarterback, Paul Finebaum?
I think they're really high. Some fans, of course, are already saying he will exceed what Alabama had last year in Mac Jones. I'm not ready to go that far yet. He's small, he's slight, but he is very accurate, and the ceiling is really where people are shooting for with him. I mean, Alabama people believe he will be in the Heisman race before it's all over.
Well, the question, I guess, Marcus, is this is a player who was more highly ranked coming in than any of the stars that they've had in the last few years. And they've had Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones playing the position. Is this kid going to be better?
Oh, gee, it's hard to say that, man. Mac Jones went undefeated and won the national championship. Tua was sitting there at the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Look, here's what I'll say about Bryce Young. Bryce Young is fortunate because now he's in a university that has looked good now upon putting up lofty numbers, big numbers from an offensive standpoint. That hadn't always been the case at the University of Alabama. So he will legitimately be in the Heisman conversation. And two, the talent that surrounds him. This is just not exclusive to Mac Jones. Tua had a tremendous amount of talent. Greg McElroy, who works for ESPN, had a tremendous amount of talent around him. Julio Jones, i.e. So, look, these guys have played well. They've had quarterbacks to play well, but now they're ushered into a new offensive scheme that'll have them in that conversation. I think Bryce will have success. I ain't ready to tag him after I just saw Mac Jones throw for all the damn yards in the world and win a national championship.
That's fair. And Booger, he comes with a different level of pressure as well. Not only the lofty expectations, but because of the new rules, all the conversation has been about how much money he is already making off the field. How, if at all, do you think that impacts the conversation, Boog?
Well, I don't think that's going to impact it at all. I think we'll talk about it initially, but in the locker room, Greeny, we don't talk about each other's money. That's the number one rule. And to your question that you asked Swagger and Paul, can he be better? I think it's going to look different. Whereas Mac Jones stood in the pocket and threw for 7,000 yards, I think Bryce Young, he's a dual threat quarterback. He's going to throw the ball first, but he does have athleticism to pull the ball down and run. And Greeny, they're not going to rely on him super early because Alabama's defense may be the best they've had in the last 5 to 6 years. So they're going to win and it's going to look differently. But I think Bryce Young, the level of play and some of the big plays he will make are going to look different because he's going to be running the football with that athleticism.
Well, Paul, very quickly, let me ask you that same question, though, but based upon, the sample that you have, which is your enormous radio show and all the people who call it with all of that passion, do you think all the money, I mean, even I'm aware, sitting up here, of how much money that kid is making, that will have some impact on the level of pressure that there exists on him?
I think there will be pressure, but I don't think it's going to bother him because, Greeny, nowadays, these young players have been through the wars already. I know that sounds ridiculous when we're talking to two great NFL players like Boog and Marcus, but they go through it. They have these 11-on-11, these 7-on-7 camps. I mean, they deal with everything. It's like the PGA Tour now. I know you were talking about that the other day. Nothing bothers these guys because they've already got the money. This is not Trevino and Nicholas 40 years ago trying to make transportation money to the next stop. So they don't care. And they all have people around them. And yeah, I think the Bryce Young thing got blown out of proportion, but I believe he will be ready. And the most important point I've heard is what Booger said. The defense is going to be nasty.
All right, so we will get to predictions in a minute, but let's start with the Heisman here, because you just mentioned they expect him to be in the conversation. You see the favorites right now as far as Caesars Sportsbook is concerned. It's all those names that we rattled off a moment ago, beginning with Spencer Rattler. So, Paul, give us the prediction. Who's going to win the Heisman?
Yeah, I'm going with Rattler because to win the Heisman, it helps. It's not automatic, but it helps if you're on a national championship contender and you're putting up massive yards, and he will do that. He won't see a lot of competition. His big game coming up in a few weeks is against Nebraska. I try not to laugh when I say that. And after that, yeah, he'll see Iowa State and he'll see Oklahoma State. But he will have big-time yards, and that will put him at the top of all these polls.
So he's got Spencer Rattler. Booger, who do you think is going to win the Heisman?
Oh, I promise you won't be anybody from Nebraska. I'm gonna go with C.J. Stroud, man, because of very similar reasons that Paul talked about with Spencer Rattler. Who's Ohio State gonna play in the Big Ten? Like, I mean, this kid is gonna put up gaudy numbers. It's gonna look different. He's gonna throw the football. He's a dual threat guy. So all the things that we talk about with Spencer Rattler, I think he can do in the Big Ten and the platform that Ohio State's gonna have, because we're automatically gonna look at them and say they are gonna be favored to win just about every game. We have to count on Oklahoma's defense under Alex Grinch to continue to be better. That's why I would favor C.J. Stroud just a little bit more.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.